So welcome everyone, and thanks for joining us today. This lunch and learn for Verkada Cloud Solutions on how to leverage the cloud and AI to secure your organization. My name is Kevin Deck. I'm an audiovisual sales specialist here at Microserve. My role is to help support our account managers with the audiovisual needs of our clients. So some housekeeping items to start. As mentioned, we are recording. We ask you to please keep your mics muted throughout the session until the open Q&A at the end of the session. If you do have questions, feel free to type them in the chat. We will be monitoring the chat throughout. And if it's a question that we think we should wedge in right away, we'll wedge that in. If not, we'll stand it by. We'll park it until the question and answer session at the end and make sure that it gets in there. When we do get to the Q&A session, we'll just ask everybody to hit the raise hand up on the top of your screen, and we'll take the questions in order. And the other things we'll be doing at the end of the session is sharing a link to a feedback form. Our marketing folks will share a link to that just to capture your thoughts on the session, see what you liked, and help us fine tune content for future lunch and learns. And we will also be sharing from Verkada a link to the Verkada site for their try and buy program. They have a free trial program where no cost, no obligation to the customer. They'll send a product out to you, get you set up with a demo account, and you can try it out and really see the power, share it with people in your organization, and see how it can help your organization change your approach to physical security. So today's session is intended to be a high-level overview of Verkada's offerings. So we're not going to go into a super deep dive on technical stuff, but if anybody does have deeper technical questions that didn't get answered, by all means, please reach out to us either directly to myself or through your account manager, and we will be happy to set up a session with Verkada and a sales engineer to answer deeper technical questions that you may have as to how they relate to your particular organization. So our introductions. As I mentioned, my name is Kevin, and I'm going to go right to left here, go to reverse order. Our main speaker from Verkada today is Rick Mendaretta. He's an enterprise account executive here in Canada. He's located in the Vancouver area, and his territory covers BC and Saskatchewan. Welcome, Rick. And also joining us from Verkada today is Tori Jung. He's the senior channel sales manager for Verkada here in Canada, and he is located in the Calgary area. So we thank both of them for being here with us today. Quick look at our agenda. We've already done the introduction part. Rick's going to talk to us all about physical challenges that you might have, physical security challenges you might have in your organization. And how those have maybe changed over the last year and a half, 2 years with COVID. A lot of our offices and other facilities, warehouses, et cetera, are maybe not manned as fully as they used to be in the past. You don't have as many staff there, so that changes our approach to physical security. And then he'll talk about Verkada's solutions to that, including a demonstration of the interface to the cloud platform that controls and runs everything. That's really the exciting part. That really will show you how simple and how powerful the Verkada solution is to use. Our regular customers will be used to seeing our services portfolio. It's actually been revised to a new pretty graphic. This is the first time many of you are seeing it, but those of you that have been Microserve clients for a while are used to knowing what our different offerings are, what the services we offer. We always like to show this slide to show the breadth and the depth of our solutions to our clients, and then also to sort of show you where this solution fits in, which bucket it goes into. Now, traditionally, Microserve hasn't done a lot in the physical security space. There's a lot of competitors out there. There's a lot of offerings, a lot of people that have been doing physical security for a long time. And we always said, if we're going to get into this space, we want something that is going to be a little bit different, that is unique and cutting edge, and leverages the power of IT and the cloud to bring a different offering to our customers. And when we first met with Verkada, it's just over a year ago now, and started looking at their solutions and what they saw, to offer. We were really excited about it. We thought that we found, the right fit for a lot of our customers, and as a result, we've had some progress here in Western Canada, positioning Verkada solutions with our customers. So which bucket does it go into? Well, technically it goes into audiovisual, because of the cameras, but there's a lot more to physical security than just cameras, right? There's access control, there's environmental sensing, there's even guest management. So Rick will talk about all those things, but as Rick put it to me the other day, it covers not just that audiovisual bucket, but it also covers how you approach your IT security, your modern workplace strategy, and even to some extent your backup and disaster recovery strategy within your organization. So I've talked for as long as I want to talk. I'm going to turn it over to Rick, and he's going to take it away from here.
So
I'm going to stop sharing, and it's all you, Rick.
Thanks so much, Kevin. Let me know if you see my screen. On slideshow. Kevin, can you confirm if you can see my screen?
You bet. Looks great.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us today. And Microserve, thanks for organizing this. Microserve is a great partner of ours. So today, as Kevin mentioned, we're going to just quickly do a few slides, just give you a high-level overview of who Verkada is and why we're different, and then actually dive into the platform itself so you can get a better understanding of the user experience. And at the end, I'll paste a link, and we don't want you to take our word for it in a demo environment, but actually test out the cameras yourself.
Close to Zoom.
Could we get people to go on mute, please? Sorry. Test out the cameras in your own environment. So to start, just a bit of background on Verkada. We're based out of San Mateo, California. I'm, as Kevin mentioned, locally here in Burnaby, British Columbia, to be exact. And we're the fastest growing physical security company in the world. And I'll talk a little bit about why that is. And we're backed by highly regarded investors like Meritech, Sequoia, Felicius Ventures, and Siemens. And why that's important is these are some of the same guys who backed, Facebook, Uber, Lyft. So they see what the potential is and how we're innovating and sort of disrupting the traditional physical security space. Bit about a company again. We were founded in 2016 by a group of computer scientists. We're up to about almost 1,000 employees worldwide now, with 9,700 customers adding, more and more every day. And we exclusively sell through partners like Microserve. So we have about 3,700 partners worldwide. And the goal really was to create a modern enterprise physical security platform that's secure, scalable, and ready for AI applications. So what we've done here is taken what's traditionally, a disparate physical security systems like video security, access control, environmental sensors, alarms, even guest management, and we've integrated onto one intuitive sort of single pane of glass, that user-friendly platform, which we'll dive into. And the vision really is obviously to protect people, privacy, and assets, but ultimately be that operating system of every commercial building in the world. So as I mentioned, we initially got our start based on a camera company, but since then we've added access control, environmental sensors, alarms, and guest management, and we're always innovating. In the foreseeable future, likely we're going to introduce HVAC and lighting in an effort to execute our vision to be that operating system for every commercial building in the world. So let's talk about what a legacy architecture looks like, what a traditional security system looks like, right? You have your either IP or analog cameras, typically run back to a switch that are limited by the NVR, anywhere from 8 to 32 cameras. If you're adding additional hard drive storage, if you need to scale or upgrade, or additional servers, if you need to view the footage, typically you're connected to a local PC or monitor. And in 2022, if you do want remote access, you're opening up ports in your firewall or doing some sort of port forwarding, which obviously your IT likely isn't too happy about. So the traditional architecture is bulky, hard, and expensive. Some of the other challenges that our customers have told us is investigating incidents can be really, really slow and time consuming, not a user-friendly interface. You need a degree in physical security to use the platform or contact your system integrator, limited storage capacity, not easily scalable, and weakened cybersecurity measures, right? Like it's not aligned with enterprise-grade cybersecurity. And let's face it, not everybody has, a gigabit internet. So sometimes if you want good quality video, that can be bandwidth intensive. So in contrast, how Verkada is changing the game. When we designed our architecture from the ground up, we had three things in mind: simplicity, security, and scalability. So with Verkada, you don't have any NVRs or DVRs, no servers on site, no server overhead that you have to manage. Our cameras have a built-in solid state drive that store footage locally anywhere from 30 to 365 days. And if you buy a 30-day camera from Verkada, you're going to get 30 days. It's communicating with a cloud using only outbound connections. Therefore, bad actors cannot push out malware to your cameras. And we're only sending encrypted thumbnails and metadata to the cloud. So we're very, very bandwidth friendly, equivalent to sending text-based emails back and forth. It's only when you're viewing the actual footage remotely is when it's using up more bandwidth. We're able to view footage, which I'll show you on any device, either mobile, your iPhone, Android, PC, Mac. So we make it very, very easy to manage your system. And likely most of you are thinking, what if the internet goes down? We have the ability to enable a offline mode, so you can actually view the footage locally on your LAN if the internet did go down. Lastly, with everything we do in Verkada, security and privacy is taken into account. So we integrate with SAML authentication. So the industry standard for identity management, so single sign-on and two-factor authentication. So Azure Active Directory, Okta, etc. Some of the reasons that customers are leveraging Verkada and why they love Verkada is we're smart, secure, scalable. Backed by an industry-leading 10-year product warranty, which I'll talk more about, infinitely scalable, end-to-end encryption, pushed-out automatic software and firmware updates. If you're not managing, multiple vendors, having to upgrade your VMS, trying to figure out whether your VMS updates will work with your camera, we eliminate all that. So I'll circle back to the slides, but I want to make sure we have enough time here to actually dive right into the product demo. So give me 2 seconds. So let me just expand this. Okay, so this is Verkada Command. This is that sort of single pane of glass, that source of truth that we talk about. As you can see up here, you have your cameras, your access control, your environmental sensors, your alarms, and guest management all on one intuitive, user-friendly platform. So to start, I'm going to click at the bottom right here just to show you a little bit about the integration with Google Maps and how easy we make it to manage your site, right? So these are our Verkada headquarters. So I'm going to dive right into our San Mateo location out of California for this demo. And I'll click into our headquarters in California here in San Mateo. And obviously we have a few more cameras than a traditional building this size would. But as you can see, the cameras are illuminated in green. That means they're live, healthy. And if they were to go offline for any reason, they'd be illuminated in yellow, and you would be able to configure alerts either on your smartphone, like through SMS or email, that, hey, this camera is offline. So I'll just dive right into the actual office. So as you can see at the top right, this is just first floor. And you can upload AutoCAD drawings for your floor, your building, and whatnot. And you're seeing these colorful, let's call them blobs. This is real-time motion plotting that cameras are picking up, and you can actually see when there's actual events going on. This is very useful in multiple sectors and industries to understand sort of customer behavior or where your employees kind of go. But what our customers really find handy is the historical heat maps for a handful of reasons. For retail customers, this is really advantageous for product placement to understand the flow of traffic through your store. But a lot of our customers in manufacturing and just office buildings have utilized this over the pandemic to even enable give insight to the custodial staff on where they should focus their cleaning efforts on, right? And this is completely you can manipulate this to go 4 hours, 8 hours, and move it back and forth to understand traffic patterns over time. But what I want to show you next is just, at a fundamental level, Verkada makes it really easy to find, share, and save video, right? And then we'll talk about advanced analytics. But what I'll do next is, if you see the top right here, is a little share sort of screen. with Verkada, there's no, going to your local PC or computer and downloading, compressing video and downloading it onto a thumb drive. With Verkada, you can, if there's an emergency or for any reason you need to share live footage, you literally can share either one of your cameras or your entire site, either through SMS, text-based email, a contact within your Active Directory, or through a link. For the purpose of this, I'm actually going to share through a link. So as you can see, this will give you access to live video for 1 hour only, just for, privacy reasons. I'm not going to share it for longer than that. But what I'll do is I'll copy this link and I will post this in the chat as soon as I, give me 1 second. Where is my, sorry. There you go. So just do yourself a favor and click on this link. It may ask you to download an app. Just ignore that, and you can click on one of these green dots or the actual live view, and you'll be able to see what I see, right? Which is our front door at beautiful California in San Mateo. So please go ahead and test that out. That link will expire in 1 hour. So next, I'd like to just quickly focus on how easy we make it to, scrub through footage on items that might take hours and hours, even days. We can do, matter of fact, in minutes, sometimes in seconds. So this is a historical footage. As you can see here, you could select, a specific day. You'll see today, yesterday, the day before, etc. And right now I have 24-hour thumbnails selected. So I can literally go through 24 hours of footage by just taking my mouse left to right, right? So, but obviously that's not the most efficient way. So if I'm investigating an incident or, an event that went down, maybe I want 1 hour increments. Now these thumbnails will start showing in 1 hour, and I can investigate 1 hour. And let's say it is, in fact, I found something that I do want to get more insight on. I can click into the event and, I can speed up footage, playback 3 times speed. I can slow it down. I can manipulate it however I like. I can zoom in to get better insight. But what we make it, even we take it a step further, is we don't want you to have to sit there and scrub footage manually. What we with our advanced search filters, you can actually get better insight. So for example, let's say there's a theft of a bike that occurred. You could simply select a specific area and our analytics will do the work for you, right? So if you look down here, you'll get insight. So for just demo purposes, maybe I want to know when this bike first arrived. So I'm scrolling down here and I can tell the bike is not here, there. Oh, look, it came in at this time. So I can play that footage. I can rewind it by 10 seconds or as much as I'd like to get a little bit more insight. Maybe I want better context. I want to know where that biker was coming from. I can add multi-camera playback, right? I could get as many cameras, up to 4 cameras actually, and get better context. So as you can see, if I hit play, you'll see the biker there and there. No need to synchronize or do any sort of manual intervention. And let's say, for example, this is footage that, if the roles were reversed and the bike was actually being stolen, I wanted to be able to save this footage. I can, at the bottom right here, I can simply archive this footage. With Verkada, we offer unlimited archiving as long as you're a customer in AWS stored locally in Canada. And you could put a note like bike theft as an example, right? Tag it with whatever you want, RCMP or Vancouver Police file number, whatever it might be. And you could select whether you want a 30-second clip, 1 hour clip, whatever amount of video you want to save. But privacy, again, is very important to us. We also give you the ability to blur faces on that archive footage. So for any privacy reasons that you might have. I won't actually archive this, but if you had, what it would do is it'd be available in the archive section right here. And just like most archive footage, we give you the ability to timestamp it, or sorry, it automatically will timestamp it, so it's admissible in court. And that archive footage can be shared just as easily as I was able to share the live link I posted in the Teams chat. You're able to get, no need to compress it or locally put it on a thumb drive. You could just share it with the authorities or anybody in your organization, anybody who needs access to that footage. As I mentioned before, even though we streamlined the sort of the process of how to scrub through footage, but with Verkada, we want you to be as efficient as possible, right? So I showed you the motion filter. The next, what I wanted to quickly show you is our people analytics. And it's important to know this is a feature that can be turned off if there's any privacy concerns. So not all of our customers use this, but we're not pulling through any database. This is essentially understanding your face as a QR code, right? So you are able to search, for example, if you had a report as a physical security stakeholder saying, hey, you know what, there was somebody who, let's use that bike example, wearing a red shirt that appeared to be male that came in and stole that bike. Again, what our cameras will do is leverage the analytics and actually go through that one camera or all cameras and do the heavy lifting for you and search for every person that appeared to be male and was wearing a red or a close to red shirt, right? We want to be more inclusive in terms of colors than exclusive, we don't want you to miss any specific video. So for example, if it is this person, you're able to, again, view that footage, take a screenshot, zoom in if you need, and also archive that footage and share it accordingly. But, a lot of times in reality, what happens is that there's a specific face you recognize and you want to be able to take perhaps a proactive alert, and a good example is maybe in a retail store, you have the sort of the repeat offenders who come in, or in a hospital emergency department, it might be a concern that you want to call in security. So you get to upload a photo from a specific person or select that person right here and create them a profile and name them, like repeat offender, and enabled a person of interest alert. So what will actually happen is anytime that person comes in a field of view of your Verkada cameras, you or a group of people will get an SMS alert or an email that, hey, this person has arrived. And the unique thing about this is we have restaurants also using this, or retail stores using this, not from a theft perspective, but also to drive better customer experience. Like, for example, a VIP client walks in, I'm a restaurant owner, as soon as he walks in, I want to come out and shake his hand. So it'll alert me that Rick has walked into my restaurant and he's maybe he's a big spender, for example. So lots of use cases for the person of interest in the people analytics. Again, that option can be turned on or off. And one thing I wanted to quickly show you as well is, just like our people analytics, if we head to the garage, is you're able to do a similar leveraging our vehicle analytics, a similar search, right? So rather than going through hours and hours or minutes of video, we're able to just search by, let's use red for argument's sake, and red car, right? What it'll do is it'll pull all the red cars for you. Just imagine how much time this could save and the efficiency it could drive throughout your organization. So you're able to simply select that video. Maybe you want to slow it down, slow motion, get multi-angle camera playback on that video, so I can, just like I could in just like I could for people, I could also do the same in my garage and get better insight and be able to share that footage, archive it, right? And then one of the things with Verkada is you're not having to, it's not something that is a moment in time. We leverage a software model, so you're always getting pushed out updates. So it's not, a feature that wasn't available when you purchased our solution, and 7 months later or 10 months later, we release another feature. We're going to say, oh, sorry, you don't have the right license. Everything's included. We push out No different than Microsoft Teams or Zoom. We push out the additional features, the firmware updates, the software updates. No need to manage those anymore. So, for example, license plate recognition wasn't available for 6 months ago, but today it is. So you're able to search for license plates. Go through. If you have a specific license plate that you've captured before, you can actually create a license plate of interest, just like we could create people of interest. So you're automatically alerted to be able to get insight and take a proactive approach on your security, which can be very, very powerful. So the purpose of today is mostly hybrid cloud security, right? The reason it's hybrid cloud is because the cameras have a built-in solid-state drive, and it's only communicating with the cloud by sending metadata and encrypted thumbnails. But I do really just want to give you a very high-level overview on the power of the integration with Verkada right out of the box. So next, I'm just going to quickly show you a little bit about our access control. So right out the gate, you can see our access control is real time, right? I'm located, so this is Pacific Standard Time. You'll see all the events as they're happening. You're able to initiate lockdowns right from this screen or a convenient mobile app. But what I think is really, really powerful with Verkada and resonates with our customers is we give you video-based context, right? For example, if I click into this door here, I have complete insight of who came in, when they came in, but more importantly, video-based context to make sure that if if Rick was coming in, for example, he didn't share his key card. It was in fact Rick. So, for example, this is very, very powerful for tailgating. We enable our customers to take a proactive approach. So you can filter by tailgating events. And let's say if I look at Justin, right? I can simply click in this video and say, hey, Justin was triggered as a tailgating event. Let me see who he let in and why he let them in. So if I want to save this video, archive it, and share it with his manager, say, hey, this is a physical security threat. Justin shouldn't be doing this. With most other systems, you'll have to match up time and synchronize. With Verkada, it's right out of the box. And we enable you to pull reports, which I'll show you in one moment. But obviously, what you expect from traditional access control systems, like schedules, automated schedules that you can lock and unlock and select, certain holiday hours where you want access control, but where you want doors to remain unlocked. Choose access levels, enable user groups. So just to quickly touch on reports for a second. Again, sorry, I'm giving you the very high level version of this. I'm happy to, meet a personalized demo if you want to double click on anything I'm showing you here. We'll take that offline. But just one more thing about access control, we enable you to take that proactive approach. So any of these events like door held opens, door forced opens, that could be a risk to your physical security. You could pull a report based on time, user, specific doors, specific sites. But once again, a report is only as good as getting context, right? With any of these events, we're able to just give you that video-based context on exactly what happened, so you can make decisions accordingly. And then important thing to mention with access control, we integrate with your existing door hardware, and WeGAN readers, OSDP, but we take it one step further. We do have Verkada-based readers as well. So for example, let's use Steven's profile. So if I look at his profile, with Verkada mobile pass app and Verkada readers, we actually enable you to use Bluetooth rather than key cards. Though we work with key cards, Bluetooth adds additional level of security. It's encrypted traffic, so less chance of key cards getting cloned. But you can also leverage Verkada's platform to push out access by sending an invite to a mobile app. For contractors or customers, or adding access for a limited amount of time. Let's say they only are a contractor for 1 week, so it automatically removes them from the system. Because we integrate with Active Directory, the onboarding and offboarding experience is seamless. aligned with what you expect from a software. And you have full control over to deactivate a user, add a new key card, entry code, whatever it might be, right from this platform. And you can, of course, create user groups based on their levels. Like if they're executives, they have specific access. And then one last thing I want to quickly touch about is why customers are moving to Verkada is our lockdown scenarios. The ability to create a lockdown scenario right from the mobile app and trigger a lockdown right from the mobile app, and call it, hey, it'll push out a message to your users, and this is completely configurable. You can say, hey, please meet at the south entrance or south building during a lockdown, and you can configure which stores, which doors. And then the other alerts, also proactive alerts on door held opens or door forced opens, again, enabling you to take that proactive view. We also just recently launched that we integrate with Schlage wireless locks. We found that a lot of our customers had a challenge, if they had older buildings that were concrete. So we've just launched that additional sort of integration. And again, I'll say that we could talk about this more in depth in a personalized demo. And as you can see, you're seeing real time. One last thing I'll touch on is that this has been very, very handy during COVID, when we were in lockdown and people were working from remote, but you needed to let somebody in. So if I click here, you'll see that door open in a couple of seconds. There you go. So gives you that complete control right from your home or remote work, right? Kevin touched on this in the beginning. The main thing is Verkada is helping customers streamline operations, but also the new digital workplace or the hybrid workplace is no longer a 9 to 5. So how has your physical security strategy shifted from that traditional 9 to 5 to now where your employees may come in and out? You want to be able to manage access control properly, have visibility, but enable business and enable the best possible employee and customer experience. The next I quickly want to focus on is our all-in-one environmental sensors. Like our cameras, they're plug and play. All they need is a PoE Ethernet connection, Cat5, Cat6, run back to your LAN. So that one sensor is able to measure humidity, temperature, motion, where a camera doesn't make sense, noise levels, particulate matter, tamper with that specific sensor, volatile compounds such as paint fumes. Air quality index was huge during either BC fires or just ensuring that enclosed spaces had good airflow through all of the pandemic. And then one powerful item is the vape index to be able to. So a lot of our universities and customers are using this in bathrooms and locker rooms because they can't have a camera. But because of our out-of-the-box integration, we always give you that video context. So what I mean by that, for example, let's look at this is just a demo environment, but anytime a trigger alert happens, because it's integrated with our cameras right out of the box, you'll see the alert happen and it gives you that video context so you can make decisions accordingly, right? Some of our customers are using this environmental sensor in their IT closets or network rooms to make sure it's not overheating. And if it does overheat, they can quickly get video context on what actually happened to make better decisions. And of course, all of these you can set alerts on certain thresholds, like this completely configurable, the type of users that you want alerts, the different type of notification settings. These can be configured based on certain days, time periods, and work schedules. I'm going to just skip alarms for a second. I'll come back to it. I just want to make sure that we cover Verkada Guest. So this is at a high level, what Verkada Guest is that, a blue binder or that sign-in sheet that a lot of our customers have in the front office at reception. It digitizes that entire process. But where we sort of take it a step further is we give you, again, video context. So get insight. So, if Rick came in and signed it, was it in fact Rick, or did somebody pretend to be Rick? So just a quick example. This is what a reception view kind of looks like. Who the guest is. Like, for example, Josie came in. She's a guest. She came. The host was Raul. The NDA documents or the health documents that Josie had to sign. So how our customers are using this is so unique in different environments. For example, if you're going, a lot of our manufactured customers are ensuring that this picture that they have to take is with a hard hat and proper PPE, and they're signing off on health and safety. So when the time comes for health and safety due diligence, you have digital records that Josie in fact signed off and read the manuals. And then with our integration, you can see Josie right here, in fact, signing in, but we also have the ability to follow Josie around the entire premises, assuming you have a Verkada camera there, which can be very, very powerful and useful for contact tracing. And just, who Josie's visited. And we integrate with, so it'll give you some insight into when Josie came in and when she signed out, so she's still in the building. But you can also print Josie a badge at that time. We leverage an iPad for this software, so long as the printer has AirPlay, you can leverage the printing functionality. Next, I just want to quickly show you the settings point of view. So you're able to completely configure the look and feel of the tablet and the guest experience when they come in. Sorry about that. And each site. So we just have our secondary office in San Mateo set up, but you can have multiple sites and they can all have a different look and feel. So I'm going to just quickly click into one of the sites and just show you the type of settings. As I talked about, the user-friendly interface, you can ensure that it aligns with your corporate colors, allows zero contact check-in, which I'll show you in 2 seconds here. And the guest types, right? We talked about Josie, she was a guest, but if it's a interviewee, for example, who just requires an email, full name, and COVID-19 questionnaire. So that was a brand new use case that we had not even intended. So our customers are leveraging our Verkada guest to answer that questionnaire, which may look like, like, for example, have you tested positive? Have you been out of the country? And the unique part here is if you answer yes to any of these questions, the host will actually get a notification that, hey, Rick answered yes, so we've advised him he can't enter. So this is completely configurable. You can say whatever you'd like here, and that's a message that can be displayed. This doesn't have to go to one person. It could go to multiple people. So if you have attendance purposes or your manager, it's very, very powerful from that sense. And you can also ensure there's a default host. So if the process is that they always check in with reception, you could put the reception's name here, so he or she would always get a notification when that host comes in. So just from a additional sort of analytics that we offer, you have the insight to pull analytics and understand the traffic. This can be leveraged in multiple ways to, for reception schedules, what type of guests are coming in, whether they're employees or contractors or, interviewees, which days you want a certain type of analytics to perform, what type of visitors are coming in. The last thing I'd like to just show you is to get a little bit better understanding is that zero contact or touchless check-in. So this is, very, very important during the pandemic. So if you don't want everybody touching that same sort of iPad at the front desk, we also enable them to take their camera, their QR code, and actually scan this. As a matter of fact, please feel free to scan this right from your smartphone, like right now. Open up your camera, scan it, and then it'll ask you to log in and select that you're a VIP guest. So if you fill out, it'll ask you to fill out your name, your email, and take a picture. You don't have to take a picture of your face, just take a picture of anything. And then choose me, Rick Menrada, as a host. And then you can kind of experience what that guest experience looks like. For me as a host, sorry, I'll leave that up for about 5 more seconds. Okay. For me as a host, it will actually send me a notification on my cell phone and through my email saying, hey, Kevin is here to see you, as an example. And in real time, the reception view will be able to get that person that enters. So that kind of, normally I would wait, but I can't get confirmation whether anybody's actually trying this, so I'm going to move on. So I'm going to just circle back here to the slide deck and just talk a little bit about, just before we go into Q&A, is talk about privacy. I know how important privacy, especially in BC, and specifically around PII, or personally identifiable information, is important. So Verkada's taken, from the ground up, we've taken all of the steps that you need to meet those sort of privacy requirements. So for example, encrypted solid-state storage between 30 to 365 days stored locally, proprietary algorithms. So each of our cameras have a built-in accelerometer. So if it senses that's being blocked or played around with it all, it'll do a bulk upload to the cloud, and it becomes basically a brick at rest if it gets stolen. Multi-factor authentication for user profiles and identity management. So only the user that is supposed to have access will have access. We can also configure privacy zones, which realize now I didn't talk about, but you can block out certain areas within a privacy, within a camera view that will never be recorded by putting a black screen. We talked about blurring faces for archive footage, and then also comprehensive audit logs. Every move that's made on our user interface, so Verkada command, is recorded. So these are usually typical steps on ensuring that we give our customers the tools to meet privacy guidelines. So what we'll do here is, I believe Kevin and the Microserve team will post the link to request a test demo trial of our camera or environmental sensor, or even guest management in your own environment. So because of our unique architecture that doesn't have NVRs or DVRs, it's essentially plug and play. You're able to request this. We pay for the shipping there and back. And there's no commitment that's required from you. And we'll follow up with you and actually provide an overview of what you saw today, but with a camera live in your own environment. I highly encourage you guys to take us up on that offer.
Okay, posted that in the chat just now, Rick.
Perfect. Thanks so much. And that kind of summarizes what I want to talk about. If there's specific questions, we can dive into those.
We have a couple of questions in the chat. First of all, for those that were trying the QR code and you didn't find Rick, type in his last name, Mandaretta. I've spelled it out in the chat there, and it'll come up for you. So the first question we had in the chat was with regards to data at rest versus data in transit. Is obviously the data at rest is on Amazon Web Server. What happens to the data in transit? Is that through your US data center, or is that going direct through AWS in Canada?
So all of the stored footage and the archive footage, we have the ability to store that locally in Canada. So some of the analytics, the metadata, is what's communicating to the AWS in the US. So that data is encrypted, both at rest and in transit. So and we leverage all of AWS's security. So I can bring my technical consultant, Kevin, if you can take a note if we want to know specific more information on that, on our security posture and security policies. Typically, what our enterprise customers do is they have a security sort of assessment that they want us to complete, and that's the best way because we get granular. And then also, I do want to mention is with Verkada, verkada.com/CA, or not CA, but verkada.com/security will give you the most latest updates on what type of compliance, where we are with our cybersecurity, right from our Kyle Randolph, which is our CISO.
And then the next question was with regards to deleting faces from video footage if a person doesn't consent, right? So if somebody's been recorded, is it possible to go through the analytics and scrub and erase any person that matches a criteria?
Yes, so you can race, but what we in that way, the way Verkada's architecture works, right? If you order a 30-day camera, you're always going to get 30 days of footage. There's not of high definition footage. You order a 60-day camera, 90-day camera, 365-day camera, etc. Um, what we encourage, if the person doesn't consent, is when you archive that footage, blur the faces, right? As I showed you, you can blur the faces. That way, it's the easiest way to kind of align with your privacy. But yes, you can go in and delete the footage, and that brings me quickly to a quick item that I want to talk about. Because of the tight integration out of the box, we manage the day two and the user experience very, very well. So at the bottom left here, you can simply click on a help function, chat with a message, or search articles as you need, and we'll get right back to you immediately. And if 99% of the problems can be fixed, remotely, and if we can't fix it, we have our 10-year industry-leading warranty. We'll ship you a new camera, right? And of course, you don't have to chat. You can also leverage the phone, and then what you'll need to do if you are getting support is enable support access, because privacy is very important to us. Even support will not be able to get access until you give them the access token.
If anybody has
Hey,
questions,
sorry guys, can I jump in real quick? It's Tori, Verkada's channel manager. Marco, I saw that question in the chat, and great question. Were you asking about the ability to blur multiple bystander faces and not the person of interest all at once? Is that what the question was? I was a little confused. You can
Yes.
just type in chat or unmute.
No, that's fine. So yes, that's exactly what my question was. Specifically also because in the past this would require a lot of manpower, and so
Yep.
from our perspective, having somebody sit there and manually scrubbing through all the stuff, it really comes down to the ease of use. And so this is something where if you have the automation built into it, it's great that you have the blurring ability, but then being able to blur out everybody else and having that logic, the AI being able to cascade that to the footage automatically. That's kind of what I'm looking for, because I don't need to hire another person.
Totally get what you're asking. So yeah, for anybody that wasn't clear on it or didn't hear that, he's asking if the person of interest can stay not blurred, and then every other bystander through that piece of footage could be blurred. The short answer here is there very likely is a way to do that. There's probably other software that could accomplish that. Right now, we do not have that capability natively built in with Verkada Command. However, Marco, you're not the first person to ask about this. You definitely won't be the last. I don't know how much I can say, but it's a question that's come up quite a bit, and I think, and Josh RSC is actually on the call right now. He might be able to speak to it from a more technical component if somebody needs it. But what a capability that would be. A lot of use cases there. A lot of good use cases. Good question.
Marco, I just want to, if you can see my screen, one more thing I want to talk about is this specify region function of people analytics and vehicles. About 6 months ago, we didn't have the ability to specify a specific region of where you want the alerts, but we pushed that out. Like I mentioned, we're always innovating. So that question, I wouldn't put it past Verkada that in 6 months or a year, don't quote me on this, that type of capability will be available, because we like to collect that feedback and take it back to product team and understand the use case a little bit deeper. And like Tori said, that has come up a few times, and I can see why that would be a good functionality, but it might be available soon.
One of the neat things that I wanted to point out as well, you shared that link to let people be able to see the heat map. Verkada can also push out a link either by email or by text message to somebody to give them access to a specific video clip. So if you're managing, the security for your campus, your office, and a person of interest comes in and you want to send an alert out to staff that are on site, whether that's security staff or just all employees, hey, be on the lookout for this person. You can share that link out and people can get that on their phone, be able to actually see the face and be able to keep an eye out, somebody's walking through the office and stealing purses or briefcases, or in a retail environment, or a university environment. There's a person who's been banned from campus and they've been spotted. Keep your eye out for this person.
Yeah.
If anybody's got any questions, please feel free to raise your hand or just jump in and shout it out.
Kevin, I didn't talk about alarms. I should provide context why I didn't. So alarms with Verkada are completely changing the game, because again, the video context, if there's an alarm that happens, we have a virtual guard that gets a actual video footage to confirm that is an actual event that they should act on. But it's not yet. We're working on getting it approved in British Columbia. So if you're interested in how alarms work, we could talk a little bit offline. If you have any sites, rest of Canada, with the exception of Quebec and British Columbia, are on the roadmap, but everywhere else we can provide the alarm service on any one of the events. So, alarms, not only are we able to integrate with your sensors, like your wired sensors, door sensors, but we can also layer alarms on the actual cameras itself and environmental sensors. So triggering events just based off the camera. So just some context around that.
Awesome. Do we have any of our clients with any questions they'd like to ask the Verkada folks?
I can also touch on one more thing since we have time. So we talked about that 10-year warranty, right, here. But I think what users and our customers need to take some time to understand is we've reimagined or changed the way you buy physical security products. So, typically you're buying a camera, the VMS system, additional servers or analytics, upgrading storage. With Verkada, there's literally 2 line items, right? You have a complete, transparent, and controlled cost of ownership. So you have the cost of the camera itself and a license. A lot of our customers buy a 10-year license on the camera because it's directly aligned with our 10-year warranty. So for next 10 years, they don't have to worry about any upgrades, managing, multiple vendors. They know that if the camera fails for any reason, we'll send them a new one. So that includes all firmware updates and software updates. But with Verkada's platform, you also have the unlimited amount of users who can leverage our Verkada command platform. So if you have 10,000 users who need access for any reason, we're not going to charge you more. So we could talk about all of these aspects in more detail in a personalized fashion.
And what's super nice about with the cloud access is that, especially in a campus or, an organization that's got multiple facilities, is you can manage all of this from one desk. And that desk doesn't even have to be at the office.
Exactly.
Looks like we don't have any more questions, but again, if you do have interest and would like to learn more, you've got a couple of options there. You can do the try and buy, completely risk-free. If you don't like it, you return it, and Verkada covers the costs. If you decide you want to keep it and get some more, then you just got free shipping on your first camera. If you want to find out more before you do that, we're happy to set up a deeper dive for you with Verkada. Please reach out to us, and we're happy to set a session up for you. All right, so yeah, if you've got nothing else, Rick and Tori, thank you both very much for being here today and setting this up for us.
No problem. Thanks for having us, Microserve. Very nice to be in front of you. Didn't really get to meet you guys, but thanks for having me.
Excellent. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll hang out for a couple minutes if anybody does have any other questions that they want to ask.